Hello, Facebook. I'm Marilyn Hickey, and I am excited about what I'm going to share with you today, the go-between. You know, we all need go-betweens, but also we all need to be go-betweens. So I love this. And let me read Ezekiel 22:30 with you. So I sought for a man among them who would make a wall and stand in the gap before me on behalf of the land, that I should not destroy it, but I found no one. You know, folks, if you think about it, God doesn't want people pointing out gaps as much as he wants people standing in gaps. And I think a lot of us, we think we should point out gaps. No, we shouldn't. We shouldn't. And Moses became a go-between with a purpose, esteeming the reproach of Christ greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he looked to the reward. Hebrews 11:26. What is the reward? I think the reward is people. What does God love the most? People. And Moses saved a nation. So he saved people. That was God's number one thing. The how. And the Lord said to Moses, because how do you do it? Go get down, for your people, whom you brought out of the land of Egypt, have corrupted themselves. Now therefore, let me alone, that my wrath may burn hot against them, that I may consume them, and I will make you a great nation. This is Bible. Ooh. Moses told God that the Israelites were his people. Then Moses pleaded with the Lord his God and said, Lord, why does your wrath burn hot against your people? So he interceded for God's people instead of saying, I agree with you, they're a mess. And sometimes we do that. But he interceded. He said, your people, whom you brought out of the land of Egypt with great power and with a mighty hand. Exodus 32:11. This is awesome. He warned God that he would ruin his reputation with the Egyptians. Boy, the Egyptians are big news for God. Why should the Egyptians speak and say, he brought them out to harm them, to kill them in the mountains, and to consume them from the face of the earth? Turn from your fierce wrath and relent from this harm to your people. You talk about not entering into a negative thing, but entering into something positive for people. Don't kill them. Turn from your wrath. And our nation has a Christian reputation. What did he do? He appealed to God's promises. If you don't know them, how can you appeal to them? So he said, remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, your servants, to whom you swore by your own self, and said to them, I will multiply your descendants as the stars of the heaven, and all the land that I have spoken of I give to your descendants, and they shall inherit it forever. Wow, that's quite a promise. That's Exodus 32:13. We must stand on God's word. We're not sent to kill people. We are sent to pray for them that they can be saved. He refused to go without God's presence. If you don't go with me, I'm not going. That's a big deal. Moses took his tent and pitched it outside the camp, for from the camp, and called it the Tabernacle of Meeting. I like that. That's a positive thing. He didn't say it's the tabernacle of discussion, but it's the tabernacle where we're meeting. I love that. I love that. We must have his presence. And he said, my presence will go with you. I will give you rest. Then he said to him, if your presence does not go with us, do not bring us from here. Wow, that's Exodus, that's the Bible. In other words, We have to have your presence, God. That's real strong intercession. That's not kill them, but really you want to save them. Moses saw God's glory. When you love people, I believe you have an opportunity to see God's glory. I love this. And we must see his glory in our nation. God's reward is our nation. I love this. I love this. This is so wonderful. And we must see his glory in our nation. We're not going down the drain. I mean, there are people they can tell you everything that's wrong with our nation. But folks, let's intercede for our nation and believe God to turn our nation around. We know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are the called according to his purpose. I believe there is a fresh wind blowing in our nation. I notice it in the news. I notice it in talking with people, strangers even. God is moving. So we want to keep our mouths moving in the right direction with him. I would say this to you today. The wind is blowing. Let's go with his wind.